Hey everybody, it's me, Marshall, from Tales from the Long Box, and that's Michael from Tales from the Long Box.
Hi.
We're here, we're the big two. We're going to talk about comic books here with you.
Oh, pretty good. Big two with the big two.
Big two, big two, big two, big two, big two. It rhymed. Everybody liked it. Today we have kind of just one main thing that we're doing. We're just going to talk about good starter books. What's a good book? Because the initial question, let's start this little thought process over.
Yeah.
We asked a couple of weeks ago what you guys would like to see us talk about, and we got a response from our good buddy Eric Keel on Spotify. Shout out Eric, #1 Cinema Lounge fan.
Love that
And
man. #1 mustache in my heart.
The cunning warrior attacks neither body nor mind.
Tell me how!
The heart, Osborne. First, we attack his heart.
Too.
#1 mustache in your heart.
The heart, Osborne. First, we attack his heart.
Yeah.
There's more than one mustache in your heart.
The heart, Osborne.
Even one is medically dangerous.
Oh, shoot.
I would be careful.
His is a beautiful thing and always has been. Always will be.
And it enhances your heart?
The heart.
Yeah.
Does
when
not
I
cause you
see
to
it, it's a
have
beautiful thing.
palpitations?
When I see him, it brightens my day. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yep.
Not a problem, though?
No, not a problem at all.
Okay.
The opposite of a problem.
I'm not a doctor.
Not a doctor. Shh.
But, don't you dare. But I think that would be a bad thing for a person to have in their heart.
The heart
Is a mustache.
Believe me, it's great. You should try it.
Okay. Well, the question that Eric asked
Yep.
was, what are good questions? No. The question that he asked was, what is a good books to read to be instantly a comic book insider? So we took that a couple different ways. We, before going and just asking him, couldn't decide if that meant good starting point books for someone like Eric who hasn't typically read comics, or if that was like to be a comic book insider meant to like have the inside knowledge, to be like a cool guy in the world or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we clarified that with him, and it was a little bit of both. So in that case,
We're going to do both.
we're going to do both.
It's going to be great.
One at a time, though.
Yes.
So what's this episode, Michael?
This episode, we're doing starter books. We're doing essentials for when you're first getting into the hobby. How do I make conversation about comic books? What do I... Like, there's a zillion books out there. You walk into your local store, and it's overwhelming because it's like the walls are stacked, the shelves are stacked, the long boxes are stacked.
Yeah.
Where do I begin? What do I do?
Mhm.
And we're here to give a little bit of guidance to that. Now, obviously, there's still a million books.
Yeah, and it's a matter of
Yeah.
taste. So, I mean, the thing that I always... and we'll come back to this in force, but I want to say this before I forget it, before we move on to talk about Free Comic Book Day briefly.
Yes.
The thing that I always ask people, like I was talking to Skylar the other day about comics and stuff, like
Yeah.
what comic do you think you would enjoy? Like, do you like superhero stuff? I don't know. The thing that I always ask people is, what kind of movies do you like? What kind of books do you read?
Yeah.
Because people think of comics as one thing. They think it's superhero. It's like when I first had sushi, I thought sushi was one thing.
Yeah.
But sushi is like sandwich. It could be a billion different things. There's tons of different kinds of sandwiches, and sandwich is just like the two pieces of bread on either end of it, and even that's kind of malleable sometimes. So comics are like that. So like same thing with anime. So comics, every genre is in there. There's mystery books, there's romance books. Not everything is superheroes. A lot of my favorite books are not superhero books.
Yeah.
In fact, never mind. Thing I was going to say doesn't apply. But
We can cut.
everything that I was saying does apply.
Yes.
So that's what I think about that, Michael.
Yeah. And also we're bringing our own like biases and our own tastes into this, and we completely acknowledge that. For the things that we miss, for the genres that we don't get into yet today, for anything that you guys watching go, why the heck didn't they mention this? This is a perfect place for new comic book readers to start.
Yeah.
Please comment. We want to be in the conversation about those things, and we want to, like, maybe down the road we can have future episodes more about other starter comics, because obviously there's a ton, and we want to acknowledge them all.
And that's what Michael says on that topic. But what I say
Okay.
is if you don't think that the picks that we choose are the perfect definitive picks, then screw you.
Marshall
And
just
we
got
have the best picks. We know exactly what the right books are. Any other book is the wrong one.
Before we started recording, Marshall said, "Man, I hate our fans so much. I hate Eric. I hate Skylar. I hate Dr. Doom."
No,
this is what he said.
no.
This is what he told me. I'm just expressing what
My
he's
liege. Doom.
I'm just repeating after you, pal. I don't know.
I would never say such a thing about Doom, Eric, or Anthony. The rest of you...
Anthony.
Yeah.
That's it, Skylar.
I didn't say Skylar.
Oh, Skylar, man, I am really sorry if you're listening to this.
I am, in fact, not sorry.
I really am curious how the rest of our audience feel about these people that we know that they don't know.
Yeah.
That we're talking about.
Comment
Love
below.
it.
What do you think about Skylar?
Yeah.
So, Michael, tell me about Free Comic Book Day. What's that all about?
Free Comic Book Day. I love Free Comic Book Day mainly because Rainbow Comics here in Lincoln, Nebraska, they do half off comics. Like the entire store is half off, and I love that.
Yeah.
That's when it's Free Comic Book Day and it's Black Friday is when I go in and just get a huge haul of compiled volumes and trades and stuff like that.
Yeah. And
it is the best.
What even is Free Comic Book Day?
It's one day. It's the first Saturday in May, typically. And different like Marvel, DC, and all the other like creators. They put out free comics that are kind of it's advertising. It's advertising for all their fun new projects coming up.
Yeah.
So they'll give you a big fat magazine full of all their new stuff. So what did they have this year? There was a Captain America one coming out that they were advertising for, I think.
I don't think there was a Captain America book.
Am I lying?
There's a new Captain
I might be
America
lying to you
series
guys
starting
unintentionally.
soon that I'm very excited about, but I don't think there was a Free Comic Book Day book of it.
There was I don't know. There was that Marvel upcoming compilation book thing.
I think somewhat
which is probably
separate.
where yeah.
I think they just do that.
Sick.
Yeah.
What else was there? There was like two.
There's like a Fantastic Four book because there is among the new things coming. There's a Fantastic Four series that's going to be drawn by Humberto Ramos, which is really cool.
New Transformers stuff coming out. I think there were two of those that I saw at the shop.
Transformers. At Rainbow they had some stuff left over from Superman Day. There was a Spider-Man book probably.
Yep.
Then
there was
DC
a book from the Phantom.
Was there the Phantom book?
Yeah, I got that one the other day.
Wow.
That's pretty good. It's old school. I handed it to my wife and she said, "I don't like the way he looks."
Yeah.
And I said, "I don't really think anyone did, but they kept buying the books."
Don't say that about Billy Zane.
Sorry, Bill.
Leave Billy Zane alone. He's done nothing wrong.
It was beautiful.
Except for everything that he did in all of the Titanic.
Oh, man. We keep going back to the Titanic in this episode.
Second time
talking about
we're talking
sinking.
about the Titanic.
We're going to keep it going back, yeah.
It's good.
Yep.
So last time or the time before that, we had a small problem. I had a small problem.
The cameras?
No. What's wrong with the cameras?
The cameras were overheating 2 episodes ago.
Was that 2 episodes ago?
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. Different problem. Called my box.
Oh.
So there was insert short clip here explaining the box. Because I had gone digital for a while, the iPad is really convenient for reading comic books. Over the course of time, though, Amazon arbitrarily decided to kill Comixology, the app, and then the experience for buying comics, discovering new comics and everything on the iPad became just like hellish and terrible because it was just the Kindle app now. What I did is I canceled all of my digital subscriptions on the Amazon and then renewed all of those things with a physical pull box at Rainbow.
Yeah.
I was, of course, in Colombia. Here's the genius thing. I'm accruing all of these books and I'm not paying for them yet. So it's basically free. I owe Rainbow Comics. Show the picture I took of me holding my books up to my head. They're as big as my head. That's how much comics it is.
No.
Free Comic Book Day, like you said, there was 50% off sales on all comics. I had a table set up with my art. I didn't take any pictures of myself there, like a fool. So just imagine it for a second. Go ahead.
Go there in your mind.
Great. Good job. Thank you. So with my earnings from Free Comic Book Day of selling a lot of good stuff and everything like that, I did pretty well.
Yep. Good.
You bought some books.
I did.
Tell us quick about what you bought.
Yeah, I didn't bring them with me because I'm bad at show and tell.
Yeah, so
but we're gonna
send
put
me
in
a picture.
Yeah, we're gonna put in pictures of the haul right here. And then what did I get? I got Absolute Batman. I got Absolute Superman. I got Absolute Martian Manhunter.
The first issues of all of these.
Just numero uno.
Yeah.
I didn't
have you read them yet?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I haven't yet because I haven't had any time because that was 3 days ago. But I want to really badly. And you advised Martian Manhunter to me, and I'm really curious about how that's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I got some other single issues. I got some of the old reprints. And then a couple of trades that I grabbed.
Mm-hmm.
I got TMNT The Last Ronin because I've wanted that for forever.
Yep.
And it's hugely popular. And it's my favorite TMNT comic thus far, which is not a hot take. That's, I think, a very
pretty
lukewarm
definitive.
take. Yeah, it's so good. I got a Transformers comic for my wife because she said surprise her, and one thing I know about that lady, she likes herself some Optimus Prime,
which is crazy, hilarious.
And everybody's got their thing, and she should. It's a great thing.
Yeah, it's the Daniel Warren Johnson Transformers.
Yes. What else did I get? I got TMNT and Batman. I got that crossover.
Oh yeah,
with that spawned that great meme where Batman misspells parents.
Barnets.
Barnets. Did I get anything else? Am I missing anything?
I don't know. That's quite a few things. You walked out with quite a few good bits.
It was such a good haul. I was and am thrilled to have some new stuff on the shelf.
Mm.
Yeah.
I was jealous. I would very much have liked to have been able to walk around and look at cool trades and stuff, because there are a lot of books, like the last couple Free Comic Book Days, there's not been a lot of trades in store that I've been like, I'm really interested in this. I don't know. But mostly it's been like, I don't know. Like I've got most of the books that I really want to read. At the time I had Comixology Unlimited, so it's not like I was paying, I needed to really buy a lot of physical books at the time. This year, I very much would have liked to have picked up some cool new stuff, especially now that we're doing this show, to be able to pick up some stuff that I'd like to do for the future. What I had to do instead is, of course, do my best to clear out some of my box. So if you remember, the box, and I've inserted the clip, the box came out to $303 US.
Yes, United States currency.
Yes. So what we determined, of course, then, is that half of that is $151.50.
Yep, that's good math. I'm really proud of you.
I did that the first time,
even though math is not good. Math
number bad.
Yep.
Picture good. Spider-Man better. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I did get some of it. I didn't do the whole thing.
Okay.
So I've cleared out. Let me just show you.
Yeah. Let me see this.
Where is it?
Find it.
Here's the box.
Da-da-da-da. That's a bag, silly boy.
Yeah, but it's full to the brimmerino. This.
Oh, are they all floppy too?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Listen, guys.
Wow,
I will have you know, this is half, okay, of what was in my box.
Crazy.
It's a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
On top, I do have.
Look at you go.
This is Chip Zdarsky's news bulletin that he puts out, which is really funny.
That cover is amazing.
They're very funny.
Oh my gosh.
You should read these. They're really, really good.
I'd like to.
So, what I do have here, we want to go through it real quick.
Yep. Give us a haul tour.
Okay. This is when we need the top-down camera.
Yeah.
Here we go, Michael. Just hold that there or something.
Oh, man.
You are the top-down camera. So check it out. We have Immortal Thor. I started picking this up digitally when it first started, and I've not read any of it because I wanted to catch up with all Thor comics basically before then. So I was reading J. Michael Straczynski's run on the character, starting there and then moving forward from there. And then you can see exactly when I told Rainbow that Comixology was dead, because this book was ongoing at the time. So this one, would be the first one to come out when I switched my box over. Pretty great. Amazing covers by Alex Ross, every single one of them, really cool. In fact, this is my favorite. There you got Hercules, arm wrestling Thor. So cool. I love it. Written by Al Ewing. Supposed to be really good. Haven't read any of it. I'll get there eventually. So, next, we have Department of Truth. It went on a long break. I've been reading this book since the beginning. I really, really love it. I'm super excited about it.
So good.
It's really good. This is the conclusion of a Marilyn Monroe arc, which is interesting because it's like the public perception of her has started to change what she is believing about herself and stuff. It's really interesting. If you haven't read Department of Truth, highly suggest it. I don't want to spoil what it's really about or anything. You should just read it. It's stellar and deals with the idea of perception is reality and stuff like that. Really cool. Superman, drawn by Dan Mora. Really good stuff. Love this stuff. Comes in the wake of Absolute Power when people's powers got all messed up and suddenly now Lois has Superman powers. So she's Superwoman and it's really fun. Cool Doomsday stuff happening. Dan Mora's art is just ridiculous. I was going to say the perfect Superman artist, but he's really just the perfect artist for literally every character that he touches. Look at that war armor on Luthor. It's so good, Michael. Miss Moonlight over here is very cool as well. You know what I hate, though? The dumb jackets they gave everybody. Let them have unique costumes.
No, let them wear a jacket.
Why does everybody have these stupid jackets? It's not the 90s. The only one who should have a jacket is Superboy. Okay. Captain America, written by J. Michael Straczynski. Didn't love it, but I really wanted to finish it out, so I didn't cancel it. I was having fun with it, and then in the last arc, it had Thor and Spider-Man in it. So I was like, well, guess I'm glad that I held on. And then, that's a great classic-looking Captain America cover right there. And then there's the finale. Pretty great cover. And then Chip Zdarsky is taking over soon for Captain America's ongoing. I'm going to be picking that up, and I'm super excited about that. And then here we have the Free Comic Book Day offerings. So Superman for All Seasons, one of the best Superman books of all time, written by Jeff Loeb, drawn by Tim Sale, who's like one of my personal favorite artists of all time. I sobbed when he died. So sad. This book is gorgeous. I love it. It's like the pure opposite of The Long Halloween, also by the same creative team, in that The Long Halloween is Tim Sale using so much pitch black, deep black color, and there's none of that in this book. It's just line work with like black where it's needed, but then so much beautiful. It looks like watercolor almost. I don't know. I need to do a little more research on that maybe if we talk about this one when Superman, the movie, comes up. So just the first issue of that one, and then the first issue of All-Star Superman, another all-timer, drawn by Frank Quitely, written by Grant Morrison. Really good stuff. It's basically a story about, what happens if God knows that he's going to die, which is fascinating. And here's some of the Free Comic Book Day offerings. So you got Fantastic Four. There's the Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, and Ultimate Universe, two separate stories in this one book. There was a Star Wars book, and this one that I don't remember why I picked it up. Initially, I only picked it up because I said, that looks nothing like Jimmy Olsen. Like, say what you will about race swapping, but like, in what world is that Jimmy Olsen? The Jimmy Olsen in the cartoon right now is black, but he looks like Jimmy Olsen. This guy is just some dude. I don't get it. It's strange. Okay, Michael.
I have never been a tripod until this very moment.
You still aren't a tripod. That would have been like a boom arm job.
Well.
Oh, boy. So, everyone, that's my polls for the week.
Wow.
And again, this is half of it.
How much is left? Yeah, how much
There's
cash
still
wise?
half that remains.
Yeah.
So if it was still Free Comic Book Day and it was still half off,
yeah,
I would have, another like $70 of comics to pay for.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is not Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
So now it's, 140-ish, I guess, whatever twice that is. Let's put Superman for All Seasons on top.
Yeah, let's do. It's a good idea.
I think I know why. So yeah, there's a lot of books in there. I did it by series. So the ones that I left in the box right now are Star Wars and Darth Vader, which have finished, as well as Action Comics. So I've dropped Action Comics because now Mark Waid is taking over and it's going to turn into a Superboy book, and I don't really care about that. Superboy being young Superman, not Superboy being one of the 2 Superboys that are out there right now. So I don't care about that. So I canceled that on my pull box. And then what did I do? Yeah, Star Wars and Darth Vader. I did then, you want to know what I did resubscribe to and add to my list?
I was going to ask if you were currently subscribed to anything. So yes, what do you got?
Still, I have Superman. Let me just situate here for a second.
Yeah, situate yourself.
Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Superman, Absolute Batman. I did not put Absolute Martian Manhunter on there because I haven't read it yet, so I want to know if I like it, even though I almost certainly will. What else? Department of Truth. The new Captain America by Chip Zdarsky that looks really good because everything Chip does is pretty great.
Golden, dude, yeah.
And that might be it. I feel like I'm missing something, but maybe if Taylor messages me, then I can find out.
Yeah.
So
you got plenty that will fill your box up again as time goes on.
Yeah. So I'm imagining that when things come out, that I can go and pick up those new books and then maybe grab one of these older ones, and then eventually I'll clear it out, or I can just not touch it, and then next free comic book day, spend a lot of money again.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody buy Marshall's art so that he can empty out his box at Rainbow Comics and stop being made fun of. Please,
if
just
you
buy his
go
stuff.
to
You want
Rainbow Comics and say, I'd like to buy a gift card to leave in Marshall's box,
that would be so cute.
then I can clean out my box.
That'd be so nice. Do that.
Yeah. Or you can just start buying books and having them put it in my box for me and say, this is from someone. And it's just a weird book that I've never heard of.
That's good. That sounds great.
Could be cool.
I'm not going to do any of that because I don't like Marshall that much, but so this is why I'm counting on you guys.
Neither do I, Michael.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Okay, so should we talk about our starter books?
I really want, yes, let's do that. I want to know what before we explain which books we chose, what were like your criteria for picking starters for people?
I was trying to find things that were continuity free, if at all possible.
Yeah.
Because as I was complaining about on the last episode, sometimes comic books are so confusing and so frustrating to read, where if you are hopping into an ongoing run or even a new current ongoing run, there's still continuity in there. You still kind of have to know about the history of the characters and how they got to the place that they're in now, and it gets frustrating and confusing pretty fast.
Yeah.
So I was trying to find places and books that would basically completely require nothing. You wouldn't have to have read any of it previously.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my main thing. Also just like really good stuff, and maybe stuff that isn't just like super obvious on the surface, except for maybe one of these, and another one of them is a lot more mainstream now than it used to be. But that's kind of my thing.
Yeah. It's a great place to start. Yeah,
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That was something I had, that like not much context needed or limited references to like outside content. I think a good place to start too oftentimes is the beginning of one writer's run or one creative team's run.
Sure. Yeah.
Sometimes the team changes throughout the course of things, but the writer oftentimes stays consistent.
Yeah.
But start at the beginning of somebody's run, like with a particular character. That's that can be a good so I tried to keep with that here. Not a crossover event, because those usually need that context, like. And a self-contained story also goes with content. Like I think of what I'm not choosing for starters is things like one of my favorites is Marvel's Fear Itself event. Do you remember this?
Interesting.
From like
choice.
that it was early on in my comic book journey when I read this. And I really enjoyed the heck out of it, but it touches so many different characters.
There's a lot of weird, especially Thor. Like if you weren't reading everything, we keep coming back to the J. Michael Straczynski Thor run.
Yeah.
Because that was right around that time as well, I think.
Funny how that happens for us. Maybe we love it. But yeah, 100%. And you there's the mainline Fear Itself run, and then there's Fear Itself Spider-Man, Fear Itself Thor, like all these things. So I didn't touch anything like that for starters, because that's just a lot to jump into all at once.
Unless you can find an absolute edition, which would then include all of the tie-ins. But those are kind of weirdly few and far between.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I didn't go that route. I went much simpler with just cool places to start.
Great.
If somebody, so say somebody's going to turn this off halfway through, and we just have to tell them how to pick their favorite, or pick a good starter. Like you set them loose into the comic book store. What do you tell them to look for?
I don't know. I mean, you can just look for something that's interesting to you. I think if you're just in the comic book store and you're like, I'm going to figure it out, walk around, find something. If you know a character that you like, if you like Batman, then like look for something that has a little number 1 on it. Yeah. And then that'll be the beginning of a run. You'll probably get the beginning of a Tom King run or Scott Snyder or something like that. Or the more recent Chip is everywhere. Chip Zdarsky's
he's our boy.
Batman run. Yeah, I mean, just if you know a character you like, try to find that character. If you don't, you can ask the people who are at the store.
Yes, they're very knowledgeable. Yeah, and like we can't tell you what's cool.
I can tell you what's cool.
Oh, Marshall, tell me how to be cool like you.
I can't teach you.
Oh, that's a good point. I'm unteachable.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Good.
Others, perhaps.
Yeah, that's true. The whole audience, definitely. No. They're very cool already.
I would never presume to teach Doom. Anything.
Doom toots as he pleases. Have you seen this meme? Hang on. Let me pull it up. Put it on screen right now.
Oh no. Oh no, I have seen that. Do not toot it. Toot. Fool. Dr. Doom toots as he pleases. That's good. You send that to me now so we don't forget about it, because I will forget about it.
I'll send that to you now so you can
insert
put it in there.
Dr. Doom toot.
I loved in the first episode when there was supposed to be a meme, but there was a 404 error instead.
I know.
And you had no idea. It made it funnier. Like, I thought you did it on purpose.
It told me there was something missing, and I was like, what would be missing? I have no idea. What are you talking about, computer?
That's what it was. So good.
Ding.
I also tell people... Start with we've talked about trades a few times already. What are we talking about? We're not talking about swapping, are we? No. Like not that kind of a trade.
Let's find out. Check it out. So this is one. All right.
That's a floppy.
This is a single issue. You can call it a floppy. You can call it an issue. Whatever. It's typically 22 pages or so. There's commercials and stuff in there. Oh boy, how exciting! But it's about 22 pages. A trade paperback, I guess I'm just going to, where's the other Captain Americas? A trade paperback then takes typically 4 to 6, I would say, issues, and puts them in one book. So then that would be one thing right there. So then that would be the contained story arc of that part of the book. So it would be a 4-issue arc, a 6-issue arc usually, and then that's what the trade would be made up of. Beyond that, you get into like omnibuses and compendiums, which are huge collected editions, like the big versions of Invincible that you see out there a lot of the time. And you don't usually get compendiums and stuff until you have a finished series, a finished book. So like there is the Invincible. I mean, I can see down there Daredevil by Frank Miller is one that I have. Hellboy, BPRD. There's an omnibus of that. I have a Thor by Walt Simonson omnibus, but those are completed runs by a creative team. Yeah. The entire thing. Yeah. And that's typically a compendium, or an omnibus is usually like 50 issues, which is a lot. Yeah. Which is why they're big honking guys. So if we're talking about a trade paperback, we're talking about essentially like a story arc, a contained arc, a contained set of like 4 to 6 issues.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So those are the sizes that you'll see when you walk into the comic book store. You'll get single issues. Those are the little magazine sized ones. You'll get, a little bit larger trade paperbacks is what they're usually called, but trade sized, and big old omnibuses like what Marshall's about to probably throw at me.
Here's a volume.
Here's a trade from one of our previous episodes about Star Wars. Look at that. It's pretty thick. I don't know how many pages. 100, 150. Yep. Compared to the size of this Superman one that's just small, you know. This is 20 pages, maybe, something like that.
And then compared to...
Jeepers. Compared to this brick of Daredevil content that is Frank Miller's run of Daredevil, that is stellar. Go and read this at some point, please. You'll be doing yourself a favor more so than me.
I don't want you to see the books that I chose.
That's fine.
Oh, look.
So I'm not looking. Those are the sizes that you'll see. When I'm recommending a starter, I'm going to recommend a trade size. That big. It's much more, it's less commitment than a full omnibus size.
Yeah.
But it is much more easily digested.
It's
than
also a lot less
single
expensive.
issues. That too.
A single issue is typically between like $3 and $5 for a regular issue.
Yeah.
If it's like a special issue or a giant size or something, it can get up to almost 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's rare. $10 is rare.
Yeah.
A trade is typically like $20, maybe brand new, but you know, on Amazon it's like maybe 15. A compendium or an omnibus gets to around like $120, $150, depending on which one it is. Some of them are smaller, so you can get some for like $70, and you can get some good ones on used on eBay. There's some really good deals on good omnibuses on eBay actually that I really wanted to collect some of those. I really want to get the Immortal Hulk omnibus, because that is like 50 issues and it's completely contained in one tome.
Yeah.
It's not like a full, you know, decades of the character where like there's 7 or 8 different Daredevil omnibuses, because there's 3 from like the original run, and then it goes to different creative teams after that.
Yeah.
It gets to be so much books so quickly.
I think the only omnibus I have is the Thor Blood and Thunder run from the 70s or 80s, whenever that was back. But it's before Thor was, you know, was goofy in the MCU and stuff like that, and when he was just an honest, like, you know, Shakespearean
Norse character.
Yeah. It was so good.
Interesting.
Read Blood and Thunder, not as a starter. That's not one of my recommendations for this, but it's really good. But yes, start with trade sizes. Is going to be my recommendation for this whole thing. And as such, all of my recommendations specifically that we're going to talk about here in a little bit are things that you can get in compiled trades. You're going to love them. A couple of other ideas that I have beyond we can't tell you what's cool and start with trades. Origin stories are great places to start. You'll probably know, you'll like, you know what Spider-Man's origin looks like. So you're not going to be, hopefully maybe you're not going to be like, Uncle Ben is dying. No, you're going to know that Uncle Ben's going to die when you open up the front cover. Yeah. So you'll just get to enjoy, you know, having the story told in its, you know, original medium, and you'll get to just kind of like experience the flow of the medium itself. It's really good. Yeah. So
Michael, should we talk about, we both picked 3 books that we think would be good starting points to get into comics.
Yeah. Now, Marshall, don't hate me, but I went a little over 3. I got 5. I apologize.
Hate you.
No.
I don't hate you.
Thank you.
I hate you.
Oh, we're back to
don't hate you.
Oh, are you? He loves me. He loves me not.
I don't hate you.
Okay.
I can add something quick.
Okay, if you want to. I can also start us if you want me to do that.
Yeah, you start, and I just found the ones that I would add.
Oh, perfect. Love that. Okay. I started with. Okay, so for context, in the 90s, at least in the 90s and beyond, the X-Men comics were largely written by a guy named Chris Claremont.
I mean, his run started early, like the late 70s, early 80s.
Was it really 70s?
I believe so.
I wasn't sure how far it extended on either side. He wrote for like the better part of 2 decades. I want to say like 17 years. He was the X-Men guy.
Yeah.
You know?
1975. He picked it up with issue 94. Giant size X-Men came out.
Yeah.
In 1975, which introduced the team that a lot of us recognize. Which
with Cyclops and Storm and.
I've drawn a picture of them. Here's the picture of the giant size team and also Iceman.
Wow, they're huge.
You can buy that. You can buy that
Buy that
on imprint.
and help Marshall empty his box.
Yes, it's a really good print. I'm really proud of it.
It's a beautiful thing.
So tell us more about the X-Men.
Yeah. So again, he wrote for X-Men for forever. He kicked it back off in 75 after the X-Men had kind of fallen out of popularity, because when they had kind of a false start with the beginning of the X-Men series.
It kind of became like a news strip almost, where it was like just kind of not very popular, wasn't anything. And then he came in with Dave Cockrum and was like, how about this new thing?
Yeah.
Len Wein actually is the one who started out there. Yeah.
And it's just such good writing, and like everything that anybody knows about X-Men started with Chris Claremont and the way he wrote it. And in the 90s, he had a series that was later compiled that into an overall title, God Loves, Man Kills.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard of this? It is so very good. So I think it's a great starter for, to get into that. It's a really like comprehensive story about the mutant struggle, like the struggle between mutants and human beings, and how mutants are seen in the Marvel universe. It's got lots of the key players. It's got Professor X and Cyclops and Wolverine and all them. It's got sorry, I almost called him Colonel Stryker, which is what he turns into in the movies. In the comics, he was Reverend Stryker, this extremist, like a
Westboro Baptist kind of.
Yeah. So he has this like cult of mutant hating people that he leads. And he's the main antagonist. And so it's this, a lot of it kind of is, it waxes poetic about like why mutants are feared and, and their place in society and stuff like that. And it's just it's really well written, in that you can, like, even if you have no idea who these characters are, which people probably know something about what an X-Man is.
What's a X-Man?
What's a X-Man? My X-Man. That was, I don't know why I went with that voice. But it's just such a good self-contained story. I don't know how many pages it is. It's probably, I don't know, 100 pages, something like that, 80 some.
95
pages, easy. Read X-Men God Loves, Man Kills. It's really, really good, and you're gonna love it.
Isn't it? It's what the original movies were somewhat based on, isn't it? That, at least that first one.
Yeah, or
the one where Kitty says the N-word?
That is the one where Kitty says the N-word. Watch out for that. That's early on. That's in the first issue of it. So if you're like really averse to that, understand that the heart with which it was written, it
like, we understand what you're trying to do, Miss Pride. Maybe don't.
She says she says it in a moment of passion where she's making a meaningful comparison. Just trust me on it. It's not in an offensive way, I don't think.
I mean, it is, but we understand what the goal was.
Right. It's like when you read it in, well, I was going to say like when you read it in Huckleberry Finn in grade school, but it's not like that at all.
No.
It's better than that.
Read it to yourself.
Yeah, don't read it out loud.
Unless...
Weirdos. A weird thing to try and do.
Why can't I see how much this costs paperback?
I really hope it was on my computer screen for like our entire intro up until now, so I hope it's not on camera.
I can figure it out.
Thank you.
Probably is. I like that, Michael. That's a really good one. That's a really good pick. I didn't even consider that.
I appreciate it.
Wow. Do you want me to follow that up and make you look like a fool?
Yeah.
My first pick is X-Men.
Oh, we get another X-Men.
God Loves, Man Kills. No, it's not. X-Men Mythos.
Oh.
So I don't know if it was Paul Jenkins for all of these. Yeah, so Paul Jenkins and Paulo Rivera did a series of books called Mythos that went through to a lot of the different... so I'll just not just say X-Men, but all of the Mythos books. There's a Spider-Man one. There's a Ghost Rider, Fantastic Four, X-Men, all these different ones. They're really cool. It is a series of these issues that Paul Jenkins did with Paulo Rivera. They're fully painted in gouache, I believe, issues that are retelling basically the origin stories of these characters.
Yeah.
With Paul Jenkins' fantastic writing that we gushed about over the century last week, and some of the best art in the business by Paulo Rivera. I love Paulo Rivera. Really, really, really cool stuff. I have not read them in a long time, but when you said what's some other ones, they immediately came to mind. So there's also a Hulk one, there's a Captain America one. The ones that I know I've read, I think I've read the Captain America one, but I know I read the Spider-Man one and the X-Men one. And the X-Men one is really cool. It kind of chronicles their first fight with Magneto. So it like gives you all of the foundations of these characters while also being a more up-to-date version.
Yeah.
With beautiful art.
Yeah, the cover's
and
got
really cool writing.
Cover's got Professor X doing that thing that you do when you think it too hard.
That thing you do.
No, you specifically.
Tom Hanks.
Marshall.
And the art is beautiful. The writing by Paul Jenkins is really cool, and it takes these stories and doesn't require you to go back to 1962 to read them. Because I've read Amazing Fantasy 15.
Yeah,
I've read X-Men #1. I've read Fantastic Four. It's clunky stuff. It's fun.
Yeah,
and jaunty because it's written by Stan. But it's not. For a modern reader to read it for the first time, it feels weird. And part of that's the Marvel method. The fact that the pictures were drawn first and the story was created after the fact.
Yeah.
Or the words, rather, were written after the fact. So you get some kind of weird writing for that reason. But part of it's just the style is very different in the 60s compared to what it is now.
Yeah.
And in this case, in like 2006-ish, 2007. So I would highly suggest these. In fact, I've never read the Fantastic Four one, and it looks really cool.
Yep, I kind of want to read it right now.
I might have to see if I can find... There's a collected version of this.
Yeah.
Marvel Mythos. Let me just try to open up an eBay page to remember for later.
Yep.
But I would highly suggest the Mythos books as like a place to begin, especially for Marvel Comics. If you want to get into Marvel Comics and Marvel characters, then this is a really great introduction to the universe because it also keeps that 60s vibe and feel while having a very up-to-date writing and look to the art.
Yeah.
So you get that kind of fun 1960s retro future kind of feeling that the Marvel universe has, at least for me, that I really love.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'll say about that.
Which I know is what you like best about the upcoming Fantastic Four First Steps.
Yes.
So that makes sense for the vibe that you seek in comics that you like. Love that.
$58 on eBay.
That's not that bad.
Not bad at all. Michael, what's your next pick?
My next pick.
$43 for each of the individual issues.
Oh.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, I will.
Sorry, I got really excited about the idea of having the individual issues instead. That's really cool.
Yes, you did. My
Michael,
next
hurry
book.
up.
I am going back to the 90s yet again with my next pick. Because it's so good, and the 90s had so many good comics.
Yep.
The 90s into the 2000s were a great time to be comic book fans, even though I wasn't yet. Because I was
90s was a weird time for comics.
I was just getting bored.
But there's some really good stuff that did come out in the 90s.
Totally. Which I kind of suspect it was like the Star Wars prequels. Like it was not loved at first at all.
It was not.
And then later on, it's like, okay, this actually kind of rocks a little bit.
It was kind of, we're going bankrupt as an industry.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Yeah.
And they were like, I don't know.
Let's just throw stuff on the wall. Yeah. I don't know if this was that, but I do think that this next pick is a really great option. It's a well-trodden one. A lot of people have heard of it because it's inspired a lot of their favorite things. It's Batman: The Long Halloween.
Oh.
The Long Halloween, of course, has a hand in the Arkham games. It has a hand in the Matt Reeves movie from 2021.
Very directly in the Matt Reeves movie.
Yeah.
There's also an animated adaptation of The Long Halloween.
Yes, which is not bad.
I think it's pretty good.
I didn't hate that one at all. It's so good. It's a really good detective noir, like heavy on the detective side of Batman.
Yeah.
With action moments too. Plenty of those.
Great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Has a great story too of it being Like it's 13 issues long. First issue came out Halloween of 95 or 96. Sorry, Halloween of 93 is when it came out. And they released a new issue every month until Halloween of 94.
That's great.
Which is, imagine being a kid at that time and like just being consistently jazzed about what was going to happen next in the mystery. I would have, had I been alive, I would have loved it.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. I love reading. It gets me jazzed even now, going from issue to issue in the collective, trade.
The collected edition.
Yeah. So I can only imagine what the anticipation must have been like for kids at that time. But,
for sure.
But
incredible
even without
art
that,
by Tim Sale.
Oh, it's so good.
I love Tim Sale.
Gosh, there's a great panel, or there's a great page rather early on where Bruce Wayne is like, I think he's like in his office and he's looking out through some blinds at a party that's happening outside, and the bottom of the page just like has a hand reaching up into one of the panels as though you are peeking through also. It's so good.
It's very good.
It's so good, and you see it and you're like, I never would have thought of that, like doing art that way.
It's all very Godfather.
Yes,
the
it
whole
is.
thing, because it's the overall story is kind of a retelling of the origins of Two-Face.
Yep.
So you get these like mob killings and stuff like that, and the Holiday Killer and all this different stuff, but it ultimately comes to Two-Face and Gordon, Harvey, Gordon, and Batman.
Yeah.
And I've even done a Bat-tober piece that's kind of inspired by The Long Halloween, which I'll post right here.
Yeah. It's not that one, is it?
No, I did not draw that.
Oh, that's not you. That looks like it could be you. I love it.
Absolutely not.
Anyway, cut it.
That's Ethan Young. Ethan Young.
It's great.
Really great stuff by Ethan Young. I love The Long Halloween. Very good.
Yeah, very, very good book. I don't know what else I can say about it. If you loved the Penguin TV show, that was huge.
Yeah, also
You might like
hugely
this.
inspired that. The Matt Reeves verse in general, the Matt Reeves, the Batman epic crime saga is very much based on this book.
Yes, big time.
It's very dealing with like the gang warfare stuff with the Maronis and the Falcone, Falcones.
Yeah.
They almost got me to saying Falcone. I hate these people.
Why do you not like Falcone?
Because it's not how you say it.
How
It's
do you know?
Falcone.
That's like
It's always been Falcone.
Yeah. That's like when the Batman cartoon started saying Ra's al Ghul, and everybody was like, "No way."
It is Ra's al Ghul.
No,
Ra's al Ghul is wrong.
I understand that was the intent, but like if you've just read it, it's RA''S is Raz.
No, there's an apostrophe. It's Raish.
What
The
would
Dark
you
Knight got it wrong.
what would you call something that belongs to the Egyptian sun god? Because I would say that's Raz.
That's Raz.
That's RA''S.
No, it's not.
We'll agree to disagree. This is also written by Jeff Loeb.
This is also a Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale joint.
Yeah, so good.
Like Superman
Look
for
at
All
him.
Seasons.
Okay, and never mind.
I know.
We'll wait.
I know, Michael.
It's so good though.
I know, you silly guy.
Is Jeff Loeb top 10 for you of all time?
Sometimes yes, other times no. Hush, I think, is kind of overrated. I think Hush is super overrated, and they're doing a sequel to Hush right now.
And the animated series, or the animated movie of Hush, was really bad.
Really bad. And they just changed the ending arbitrarily, and it makes no sense.
So dumb. Yeah.
It's really bizarre.
Yeah.
It just like...
Not a fan. Read Hush. Don't watch the animated
I need to reread it because my buddy Pez really likes it, and it's like a top Batman book for him.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but I'll reread it.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll like it.
Haven't dispensed that out to you.
All right. Do you want my next pick?
Yeah, go ahead. Wait, let that joke breathe a minute more.
All right.
Now give your next pick.
Okay. I'm going to follow up on you, Michael.
Okay.
And I'm going to say Batman Year One.
Year One by Frank Miller. By
Frank
my
Miller
dad,
and David
Frank
Mazzucchelli.
Miller.
This is, for my money, the best comic book of all time. Superhero.
It's up there, yeah. If not the best, yeah.
Superhero for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in general.
Yeah.
I think this thing is incredible.
Yeah.
David Mazzucchelli is mind-blowing. This is like the only time I believe that he ever drew Batman professionally.
Yeah.
And he manages to immediately, in these 4 issues,
Yeah.
be in the top 5 Batman artists of all time on
Yeah.
like every list that you see anywhere. It's incredible stuff. Frank Miller has never been better. I love The Dark Knight Returns, but this is incredible stuff. I love contrasting. So it's Batman Year One. It's Batman's first year as Batman.
Yeah.
Bruce's first year as Batman, but he's kind of not even the main character. It's also Gordon's first year back in Gotham, rather. So it chronicles Bruce and Gordon coming to Gotham after being away for an extended period of time, and Lieutenant Gordon, going up through the ranks, or it might be Captain at the beginning. I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
But man, I haven't reread it in a while. I just have it here.
Yeah. Did you get this? Was a free comic book day grab for you or no?
No, I got this at Watermark Books in Wichita.
Good.
Really cool indie bookstore.
Yeah.
If you're in Wichita, you should check it out. We really liked it. It happened to be national or world indie bookstore day when we showed up at 9 a.m. when they were opening.
That's
So
crazy.
there was a line out the door.
Yeah.
We were like, what's happening? That's what was happening.
Cool.
So this book's fantastic. It's Gordon and Bruce, their first year, and it's Batman Begins takes a lot from this this book, where it's him kind of figuring out what it means to be Batman. How does he do this? He doesn't have the costume at first. He's walking around kind of in disguise as like the Matches Malone kind of character, and then eventually has his first night out, and it goes really poorly.
Yeah.
He almost drops a guy off a cliff. Gordon's life is a mess. He's having an affair. The force is extremely corrupt, and he's pushing against that. All those different things. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
In this book, you get everything that you need to know about the Batman mythos and more.
Yeah.
Like, it is the definitive Batman book, and everything is disappointing compared to this.
Yeah. Except for the Long Halloween.
Except for the Long Halloween, maybe. It's so good.
Yeah.
The very famous panel that's very good. Like, you get... Something I really love about this book is how much Batman feels like a guy. Where, like, there's some comics where, even in the Long Halloween, the way that Tim Sale draws him is incredible and, like, mythic, and I love it. But it kind of makes him feel very larger than life and like a superhero.
Yeah. He's
This
not mythic
book-
yet here.
No, this book really emphasizes the fact that Batman is a guy.
Yeah.
He's a man.
Yeah.
And he has to rely on tricks and theatrics and stuff like that to do the job. And, you know, because this is year one, he's also not practiced at it. He doesn't have like a fancy costume yet. It's just a very basic suit. And I think they even make mention of that in the story, if I can find it somewhere here. But there's one of the first moments when he unveils himself. Yeah, the first moment that he unveils himself to the public is Commissioner Loeb is having, the deeply corrupt police commissioner Loeb is having a dinner party with the Gotham elites, and Bruce is outside slowly preparing everything. And I love the lettering in this book. The lettering is really good.
Yeah.
All of Bruce's stuff is in cursive, which I really like because he's this kind of like well-to-do guy. He would have learned how to do all that nice stuff.
Yeah.
So his bubbles are all in cursive, and meanwhile Gordon's looks like it's written on a yellow legal pad, which like very clearly distinguishes the two of them visually, and as do the colors. A lot of times with Bruce you're getting cold colors, and Gordon you're getting kind of warm ones. But so again, back to the dinner party. They're having their party and they're like talking about their insider trading or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Bruce does all of his stuff. What's the dialogue here? Let's see. Lieutenant Gordon, I've been hearing his name often. All night people seem to hate him. Flood's all set. He's setting up a floodlight. Oh yeah, they're doing like a what is it, like a cherry jubilee or something that's like has the fire going.
Yeah.
And he throws a smoke bomb through the window, cuts the lights, and then power goes out. Smoke everywhere, walks in, and the classic panel, which is so good.
Yeah.
Says, ladies and gentlemen, you have eaten well. You've eaten Gotham's wealth, its spirit. Your feast is nearly over. From this moment on, none of you are safe.
So good.
It's
Oh my
incredible.
gosh,
And
yeah.
the way that he just walks in, I would love to see this adapted in live action.
Yeah.
Because the way that Mazzucchelli draws this out is amazing, where you're getting all of these small panels, one by one by one by one by one, and you get the speed up into the action, and then boom, and you get the one big panel of the effect of him there, and he looks like this creature outside that's blasted the wall off of this place.
Yeah.
And these people are terrified as he comes and extinguishes the flame. He's lit from below. It's so good.
Gosh, that is so good. That's
Incredible stuff.
Truly, it just gives chills when you hear it.
Mm.
We said Jeff Loeb maybe top 10. Frank Miller maybe top 3, maybe top 1. If I'm really, really honest,
Yeah.
he might be the all-time best.
He's done some of the best Batman stuff and also some of the worst.
What is it? What's he done that's the worst?
Well,
that
The
you
Dark
remember?
Knight Returns is fantastic. The Dark Knight Strikes Again, not so much. And then
I
there
don't know
was
that
a
one. Yeah.
third Dark Knight book that I heard was okay. He also did All-Star Batman, which is not really a companion piece to All-Star Superman in any way at all.
Sure. Yeah.
But theoretically, it's the same Batman from The Dark Knight Returns. It's strange,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I forgive all of it
Yeah.
because of this.
And because he did Mad Max.
No, but I see what you're doing there, Michael.
Oh,
This book is fantastic. Oh, one
Yeah.
last thing that I really love.
Yeah.
I keep talking about how he just makes Batman look like a guy. He does the same thing with Gordon. And my favorite thing about this, he doesn't draw him like super duper buff or anything like that. And in fact, if you look at the back of the book, you can see his like model sheets trying to figure out what his Bruce is going to look like.
Yeah.
And you can tell very clearly it's Gregory Peck.
Yep.
Like it's meant to be a classic
That
old
middle one
Hollywood
right
kind of look. Like all of these are very much like that's Atticus Finch.
Yeah.
And I love that as like I'm just imagining that voice.
Yeah.
So cool. And especially now that they're casting the new DCU Batman, I'm pulling for Ethan Peck, grandson of Gregory Peck, who plays Spock on Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Oh, that's okay.
I think he's got the look.
Yeah.
When you see him without the ears and the bowl cut,
Yeah.
he looks great.
What's really funny is I saw a fan casting just this morning of Zachary Quinto, who was Spock in the
I don't see that at all.
dude. The picture they had accompanying this headline, I was like, I can understand that a little bit because he's very proper.
Yeah.
He's very he can be scruffy and everything like that. But he was Spock in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies, and I think he would be an okay Bruce Wayne. I'd be interested to see him as Batman, but as Bruce Wayne, I could totally see his style. But
I mean, look at Ethan Peck.
yeah,
It's incredible.
he looks just like his
He looks
grandpa.
perfect.
That's really good.
And he's got the voice too. It's not as deep as his grandfather's, but he has a great voice. He's got Michael Keaton lips.
yeah.
And
You can grow into these things to like his voice. That'll get deeper.
He's got a great jawline for the character.
That's solid. Yeah.
I think he would be fantastic. He's also he's like mildly unconventionally handsome.
Sure. Yeah.
Like his eyes are like maybe a little bit too far apart. And I like the idea of Bruce not being a perfect specimen in the way that maybe Clark is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think as a counterpart, like I think this guy would look really good next to David Cornswet.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I dig it.
Batman Year One. I'm starting out strong with that one.
Yeah. I want you to know this was my first pick for any starter book was right here.
Yeah.
But I said to myself, there's no world where Marshall doesn't already have this picked.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to let him have it.
Yeah. I love that book so much.
If you don't take any of our other recommendations, start with Batman Year One. It's perfect. My next one is a little one called Doctor Strange: The Oath.
Okay. Yeah.
Have you read this?
Yeah.
The artwork in this, so much fun.
Is that also Tim Sale?
It's
Who is that?
Artist Marcos Martin. Or
Right.
Martin, maybe. It's got great artwork. It's got a self-contained story that's like really, it feels nice.
Yeah.
It's grounded. I mean, the story and plot are super grounded, but it's told through this like mystical comic book character lens.
Yeah.
And it gives you it gives you everything that the character cares about, along with a lot of the things he can do. Which is, it's like, I think character moments are really strong in comic books, and this is stacked with character moments for Stephen Strange, for Wong, for the Night Nurse, for everybody that Strange hangs out with.
It really does encompass all of his supporting cast.
Yes,
and that's where you get
really
the
does.
whole like surgery astral projection thing that they used in the movie.
Yeah,
as well.
they just stole that like 1-to-1 for that first movie. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think a lot of it involves like Wong is dealing with an illness, and this is kind of in that season where he's Doctor Strange's assistant, or like it feels like his
the manservant kind of. Yeah.
Wow, that was cute. Really, really fun Doctor Strange story. Also, Doctor Strange is kind of one of my favorites, so I'm a little bit biased.
Really?
He is such a fun character that you can do so much with.
Yeah, the magical side of things is
it's great.
kind of underused in Marvel a lot of the time because it is such a sciencey.
Yeah.
Like DC does a lot of magic.
Yes.
Because all their characters are gods and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But Marvel is so much like science experiments gone wrong. And
Yeah.
scientists, the Fantastic Four are astronaut scientists, and Spider-Man is a science experiment gone wrong. Captain America is a science experiment gone right. Hulk is a science experiment gone wrong. Iron Man is a scientist. All those but Doctor Strange is like very much in an entirely different world compared to these guys.
Well, totally. And there's this sense of whimsy that isn't super used otherwise.
Yeah.
But this is just like, oh, he's a sorcerer that says gobbledygook random words and magical circles happen. It is so much fun.
I like
so
that.
Much fun. Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that Greg Pak did a Doctor Strange run. That looks good.
Which one?
I don't know. Greg Pak.
Nice.
He wrote it. I like Greg Pak. He did the more recent Star Wars book. The one that's really, really good.
Good. What's your next one? What do you got?
Yeah, let's kind of try to blast through a little bit. The one that I have the most to say about is probably Batman Year One. So these other ones we can go through quicker. Invincible.
Invincible.
I would say Invincible.
Yep.
I think Invincible can be a difficult one, maybe, but because it is finished, self-contained, and requires no continuity, I'd wholeheartedly suggest it. The only thing that I would say is that because it kind of relies on some level of understanding of the history of the medium in the way that Invincible is very much a universe that is inspired by Golden Age books, at least in the beginning, and in like the visual style of it. And it like satirizes a lot of these Golden Age tropes and stuff like that. It's more rewarding if you know those things, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't think that you really need to appreciate the books or even appreciate the show. But I would highly suggest reading the books. I have it, but I don't know where it is. It's somewhere, but it's not in this room right now. Otherwise, I have all three of my picks in hard copy.
Did you loan it to somebody?
I might have. I don't think so. I don't know. It's someplace. But Invincible's really good, written by Robert Kirkman, who also did The Walking Dead and a lot of other stuff that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. There's one that's about like demon possession that is supposed to be pretty good, and some other stuff. Oblivion Song is a more recent one that Kirkman did that I liked. Penciled by Corey Walker and Ryan Ottley. Ottley's stuff is inked by Cliff Rathburn. I didn't do enough research to know who inked Corey Walker's stuff. I believe Mark Morales did some work on Invincible. FCO colored it at one point, and I have not looked at who else did colors on that one at some point. But it's just a fantastic book. It is, because it's its own universe, it can just do whatever it wants to do. It's not held up by outside continuity, because even some of these trades that will suggest to you, like I think the ones that we're talking about are all graphic novels where they're completely self-contained. But if you're reading like the original Hush, takes place in continuity. So if you're reading that book, part of why I don't like it is because it does have this weird aside in the middle where they're thinking like, is Hush actually Jason Todd back from the dead? But that hadn't happened yet. So it's like this weird hint of a thing that's going to eventually happen, but it's a fake out. So if you're reading it at the time, maybe that's cool, but me reading that knowing that that's not what Hush is, it just felt really weird. Because then also apparently I think that it actually was Jason in that book, it's so weird.
That is super weird.
Continuity things are weird. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So you can read some trades like that and some self-contained, quote unquote, self-contained stories and not have it still quite make sense, and it's still beholden to the things outside of it, and they have to hit weird random story beats, like the random issue of Charles Soule's run on Daredevil where something happens with Elektra, and it's really just only there to launch the Elektra ongoing that's about to begin.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with anything happening in the Daredevil book.
Mm-hmm.
It's frustrating. Yeah. Invincible has none of that.
Totally.
There's no filler. It's just continuing the story issue by issue by issue. It's a really fast-paced book.
Yeah.
And it's really intense. It's really well written. If you like the show, the book is even better.
Yeah.
It's the art is insane by Ryan Ottley. The writing is fantastic by Kirkman. I think that his writing has weirdly improved in the show. Like, he's gone back and tweaked some things. Mm-hmm. Notably, some of the female characters. He's been criticized for the way that he writes women in the past, and he's changed characters like Amber and Eve and even Anissa in the new series.
Yeah.
It'll be fascinating to see where that goes because there's controversial moments that happen later in the series. Mm-hmm. But I love Invincible. I would highly suggest it. It's probably, if I had to choose a favorite overall superhero book, it's Invincible.
Yeah, totally. And I think there's like a temptation to say, oh, that's not a starter book, that's an insider book. Like, people don't know that, especially before the show. But I would say that because it's not one of the big two, it's an even better starter book to get like kind of outside of the
diversity.
Yeah, to get outside of the stigma that Marvel and DC is all that there is, because that's just not true.
And that's kind of what my goal was here. Is like the only thing I have from the big two is Batman Year One.
Nice.
All my other stuff is independent books, whether that's from Image or other publishers.
Yeah. Well, you had Mythos, which is Marvel, but still.
Yeah. Well, that was a late edition.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
I have a Marvel, I have a DC, and then I have other stuff.
Okay, I dig it.
I have 4 publishers represented.
Good. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Invincible's a great choice.
Thank you. You go.
I will go. Something near and dear to you. Good old Superman for All Seasons.
What?
Which I must have gotten to the store late because they didn't have this out, and I'm really bummed because I totally would have snagged one of these if I had been there in time. I love Superman for All Seasons.
It's really fun.
It didn't even occur to me that this was the same creative team as
Long Halloween.
As the Long Halloween.
You wouldn't know.
You really wouldn't. It doesn't like
it's so different.
But once you know that, it's hard to not see it. It's such gorgeous writing. I love that. Where do I even start? I love that Superman, the first thing you notice about him, he's a little ugly. He's a little kind of frumpy looking, even on this. Look at this cover. Like, he's just.
I love that. Like, Tim Sale does like make him kind of dense.
Yes, he looks like a lump of clay a little bit.
He's a Kansas farm boy.
Yes, and that's the whole thing. He is. This is him. First coming out of Kansas, learning what the world is. Or first coming out of Smallville, I should say, figuring stuff out. Getting to. Like the first chapter of For All Seasons, the compiled edition. It opens with him, and he's like, everybody in Smallville is like, why is he acting so strange? It's because his parents just told him that he was an alien, and he's like coping, and he's dealing with it.
What the heck do I do with that?
Yeah. And it's just such an interesting. You get to like sit there and be quiet and be awkward with him, and it is just such an interesting take. And beyond that, it turns into, in a lot of ways, your classic like Big Blue Boy Scout story that you always hear about. But it's kind of rewritten for a more modern era, and in some ways, I do think it's kind of inspired every Superman iteration beyond the year 2000. Even you go back to like Superman Returns, and a lot of his mannerisms you can see reflected in Superman for All Seasons. You definitely see the more when Henry Cavill's Superman is acting more plain, you know what I mean, as in from the Great Plains. He kind of reflects some of it. You definitely see it in Superman and Lois, the CW show. That I think was a pretty solid adaptation.
Agreed.
Stuff like that. So you see echoes of this everywhere. But I do think it all goes in large part back to this beautiful artwork, beautiful Man of Steel. So great. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tim Sale's art is fantastic.
It's so good. Yeah. And the stories are great. I mean, you get into what is a Lex Luthor and
he's a Lex Luthor.
How do they meet?
Why bald?
Redhead guy.
Do they do the whole? Is that the book where they do like the whole, like him trying to be friends with Lex, or is that?
No, that's not this one. Yeah,
I'm thinking of Birthright.
In this one, Lex, I think issue 1, Lex is taking Lois on a date, so there's instant animosity, but he does still have hair at the beginning. So that's great if you're interested in seeing that.
Hair Luthor.
Yeah. They do that. There's that scene do you remember the scene that everybody really loves in the movie Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice that everybody also loves, where somebody is holding Lois Lane hostage? There's like a terrorist holding her hostage or something, and they've shot Jimmy Olsen, who wasn't actually Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
And Superman shows up and just floors this guy and like throws him through buildings and such. They do that in this, but it's so hilariously different because in this, Superman just speeds in, grabs the gun, and like crushes it, and saves Lois in that way with no harm done to others. So it's
like Superman
would actually do. So
not
so
like Snyder-Man.
Yes, which to me makes it an even better starter comic, because it's like, we know what you've seen on screen of Superman. Here's the real guy. Here's the character that was actually written in the first place.
And worth noting that this is one of the books that James Gunn has said has in part inspired the new movie, as well as even more so All-Star Superman, which we also have the first issue of here.
Yep, absolutely.
So check it out. It's a really good one.
Read them.
DC's been doing these compact editions. I don't know if there's one for this one. I know there's one for All-Star. I don't know if there's one for all seasons.
Yeah.
But you can find out. And if there is, it's $10. Pretty cool.
Amazing. You got one more? You got two more?
One more.
One more? Hit me.
Hellboy.
Hellboy. Played by David Harbour.
Perfect casting, bad movie.
Bad movie, yeah.
Hellboy's fantastic. Hellboy, again, completely singular thing. There's nothing like Hellboy. He is in his own universe. He is his own character. The art is completely unique. There's a few people that kind of are inspired by Mignola these days, but for decades, like, this was the only thing that you would ever see like this. And it still really is. I love that, there's all these muted colors except for Hellboy on every single page. Yeah. It's very like dour and dire and very kind of dry humor with this gothic vibe, except for Hellboy, who just sticks out so much always because he's always this bright red color. Yeah. I love it. So if you've seen the first movie, it's somewhat inspired by the first volume. This is the first omnibus. There's 4 of these that make up the entire original run of the series. Yeah. I have all of them. I've read almost all of it. Mike Mignola's art is incredible. His writing is also really good. John Byrne actually wrote the first volume. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Mike Mignola was kind of skittish and didn't think that he was good enough initially to write the book on his own. He just wanted to draw it. So John Byrne, of like X-Men fame and Superman and all this different stuff, he scripted it.
So good.
For the first volume, which is really weird. Yeah. You would never, I don't know how I looked at this every single time and never saw the name John Byrne there and thought, that's strange.
Yeah, well, probably because that's where the artist usually goes. And it's like, no, he penned this.
It's super strange.
I love
that. Seed of Destruction, script by John Byrne, colors by Mark Chiarello. Yeah. And then it looks like Pat Brasso did the colors after that. Letters by Pat Brasso. James Sinclair did the colors for all of the rest of this. So maybe Sinclair became the guy after that, which makes sense because this first volume has a different kind of visual look to it. It's a bit more garish at times, and then you really settle into this much more like gothic feeling after that.
The whole thing looks extremely unique,
it's
as far
amazing.
As like the stylized versions or the stylized like choices,
the pacing of it as well. Like every once in a while there will just be this an individual panel of just like a bird or a skeleton or something, and it's just like incredible stuff. The stuff that he chooses to put in black and not put in black, he'll say is because he's just lazy and doesn't want to draw it, but it's, you know, he's making incredible artistic choices, even if it's just intuitive.
Yeah.
And it's not an intentional thing in his mind actively, but it's just incredible. There's a great documentary called Drawing Monsters on Prime about Mignola. And it's really good hearing him about how he got his start and about starting the Hellboy universe and the process of making the movies and stuff like that. And it's before, I think, the David Harbour movie came out and before The Crooked Man came out. But it's really good stuff. If you don't know anything about Hellboy, basically he's a demon. And he was summoned by the Nazis, but they accidentally summoned him to the wrong place, and the Allies picked him up instead and founded the BPRD, the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Development. And he is basically like a monster hunter. Like he goes and tracks down paranormal threats and stuff like that. He's a demon. He eventually finds out that basically he is the son of the devil and he is destined to destroy the world. Problem is, he just is not interested. Doesn't want to do that, doesn't care, says no thanks. But that's his character in a nutshell. Like, he has this heavy destiny on his shoulders, but that he's hurtling towards through all these stories, but has no interest in it. A lot of really, really good Hellboy stuff. You can start with the short stories even. There's collected editions of the short stories. Hellboy's kind of a tough one just because there's so much of it. Outside of Marvel and DC, it's the largest comics universe.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's huge. I mean, all of the Abe Sapien has his own book. The BPRD has their own entire series that's just paranormal stuff. I have, again, one of the omnibuses of it down there. Like the Incredible Screw-On Head, Lopter Johnson, all of these different characters have their own series that they've had over time. And almost all of them are really good. Highly suggested. If you want to get into Hellboy, I would start with the first volume or even the first omnibus. Like, this guy is not that big. These omnibuses are pretty small. In fact, it's $25 for this one, and it's a big fat chunk. So it's not that bad. The first volume is not going to be that much less expensive than that, so you may as well go to that. And if you're not going to get that, then I would suggest the first short stories compilation, because there's some really good stuff in there. Namely Hellboy the Corpse, which is one of the first books that made people really be like, oh no, this is actually really cool. And not just some random weird thing. That's the thing that made Del Toro want to make the movies. Is that specific short story, which inspired the thing at the end of the movie when he's got the guy on his back and stuff
that
like
was
that.
I didn't realize that. We love a strange man with one big hand and sawed-off horns.
With right hand.
That too. Made famous by Sam Neill's very own. What do you call it? Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
Are you ready for our last one?
Give me the last take.
The last take.
Last pick.
We talked Superman.
We did talk Superman.
We talked Batman.
Spider-Man.
Who am I forgetting? Spider-Man.
The big three.
Yeah.
Arguably the big three are Hulk,
yeah,
Spider-Man, and Wolverine.
That's
at least for Marvel.
Crazy. That's a crazy take. Who do you? Okay, judging by my previous picks,
Spider-Man Blue.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like I'm predictable. I didn't mean to until we started recording this, and I'm looking through my picks.
Yeah,
I'm going,
wait, what the heck?
These are all Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. What?
Yeah.
How'd
you do that?
I didn't mean to do this.
How'd you do that, Michael?
It's such a good Spidey story.
It's
dude.
very good.
Like, anybody goes to Spidey, and you know what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. You want teenage drama. You can have it in Spider-Man Blue.
Yep.
You want the Green Goblin. You can have that in Spider-Man Blue
immediately.
Yes, so right away. You want quips. You can have so much of that in Spider-Man Blue, and they're actually funny. You'll actually giggle a little bit. Well, you brought the whole room down. Oh. You really brought the whole.
If you want dead girlfriends,
if you want to bring your dead girlfriend down,
you've got that.
Go to Gwen Stacy.
Go to George Washington Bridge.
Yeah. Hope you all knew as you're just starting in comic books that Gwen Stacy died, but
I mean, that's what the book is about, Michael. I don't think that's a secret.
James Bond dies.
James Bond dies in the movie.
Sorry, Karen.
Sorry, Karen.
It's quintessential Spidey.
Yeah.
It's got everything that you want from Spider-Man, and it's so easy to read. It's just talk about an easy reader. Had all that art that I'm not going to go back over with Tim Sale.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's so good. It's undeniably good.
It's kind of in a middle ground between Long Halloween and All Seasons, where All Seasons isn't using any of that deep black, and Long Halloween is using so much of it because it's basically The Godfather, the comic book.
Yes. Yeah.
But Spider-Man Blue is kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's in a series. Do you know this?
Yeah.
That they did also Captain America White, Hulk Gray, Daredevil Yellow, which are all those ones are kind of like origin story books, and this one isn't.
Not so
which
much.
is kind of a weird difference. That like at least the Daredevil Yellow is kind of the same story as Man Without Fear, but it's all these are the same creative teams. And Daredevil Yellow is also very good. Hulk Gray is okay. Captain America White also okay. Yeah, but Spider-Man Blue is an all-time classic.
Totally. Well, and it's I think anybody starting also should have some. I hope have some sense of, you know, being intentional about what I'm doing by accident in this case, which is finding the same writers and the same artists.
Yeah, find a writer you
and
like.
Going back to that. It's like that's a whole other, like, we talked about find characters you like, find a writer you like, find an artist you like, and buy more of their stuff too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's if you ever don't know, if you know, you ever walk into the shop and you don't know where you want to start, you go, oh, Frank Miller, he's great. Yeah, what do we have from him? You know, that's
What's Mignola doing these days?
Right.
What's Chip up to?
Yeah,
find out in the Chip news books.
Yeah, the weird one where he's gonna kiss Batman on the lips or whatever.
It's also him.
Yeah,
it's a funny joke about how there's too many Batman books.
Oh, that's
also
cute.
He was writing Batman at the time.
I figured. Yeah, he's great. He's a great writer.
He's very funny.
Yeah. There are so many artists that you can go and find. Frank Miller, Grant Morrison, Neil Gaiman. He's one that I would love to talk more about, like his whole body of work.
You got to put an asterisk on that one now.
Yeah, I know. Which I didn't hear about till way after it all was huge, so I don't even know. Bendis, Jeff Johns, Chris Claremont. We talked about.
Asterisk, maybe.
Really?
I mean, well, just all this Justice League stuff that, like, maybe he was a malevolent presence on the movie set and stuff like that.
I had no idea.
I don't know. I don't know how much I trust Ray Fisher at this point.
I get all my hot tea from you, Marshall. I really appreciate that about you.
Yeah. Supposedly, Whedon and Jeff Johns are a problem, and I believe that for Whedon, but I don't know about Jeff Johns.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Green Lantern is really good. That's a good run. If you want to get into a DC book, maybe try Jeff Johns' Green Lantern.
I like that. Did he do Blackest Night?
I don't know if he did.
I have a feeling he did Blackest Night, which is going to be on spoilers. Might be one of my insiders as we go into talking about that. I love Blackest Night. That was another one I read kind of early on. Who else? Mark Millar. He did Civil War for Marvel.
Yep, Jeff Johns.
Another great one. Yeah.
Millar is an interesting one because his stuff is so kind of like 2000s. He's very kind of edgy guy. To the point where I wouldn't necessarily suggest him as a starting point because his stuff is so cynical about comic book characters and stuff. Like, he's not to the level of like a Garth Ennis, who's writing The Boys, and you know, which
totally.
is
yeah.
But
I'm not necessarily talking starters for like when I'm going through artists that I like.
Yeah,
you
said artists 2 times. Writers.
Yeah. That I like.
Yeah, I let it go the first time, and I was like, I should probably let you know.
Artists in the sense of the written word, the art of the written word,
the art of the writing.
Yep, that's how I cover up my goofs.
I love it, Michael.
Yes, pick who you like. Pick the characters and the real life people, friends that you like to read.
Also, pick who you don't like. Vote below. Do you like Marshall or Michael better, and what do you think of Skylar? Tell us in the comments.
Wait, do we not like Marshall or Michael, or do we do like Marshall or Michael?
They have to decide which one they like and which one they don't like.
Okay.
Vote in the comments below. Thank you. Also, tell us what you think about Skylar. So we've been going for a very long time. This is Comic Book Show.
Yep.
We've talked about comic book, many of them, good ones to start with. That's pretty cool. Next week, Ninja Turtles.
I cannot wait to talk about my 4 boys. They're so good. I was going to put one of them in the starters here to break out of Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
It's hard to start with Ninja Turtles, but I have places for people to start. You got to listen next week for it, though.
Okay. Yeah. So just to be more specific, we're going to be talking about The Last Ronin, and I've also been reading the original run by Eastman and Laird.
You have?
Yes.
Do you love it?
It's a little rough at the beginning.
Oh, okay. Tell us next week.
But I'll get into it deeper. I like I like where it's starting, and I'm interested to see where it's going. It's not blowing my mind yet, but I've also never been a huge turtle guy.
Yeah. You're a human guy, for sure.
If I was a turtle, I would be a huge turtle guy.
Yes, 100%.
One of the biggest turtle guys.
You're a mutant now. You would be a mutant as a turtle for sure.
Yeah, and Senator Kelly would not be happy about it, and neither would Reverend Stryker.
Yeah, Senator Kelly would squeeze through some bars in Alcatraz and fall to the ocean below.
He would be a real big gelatinous blob.
Man,
and Stan Lee would be cooking hot dogs.
When we do inside jokes or references, I mean, that's not really an inside joke, but I'm like, man, I hope somebody gets
jokes
this
for
reference.
comic book insiders.
Kind of.
These are
like movie insiders. At this point.
Well, that's close enough.
Yeah.
So next week, TMNT. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here this week. We always appreciate you being here and spending your time with us. If you want to hear more about comic books, we have other episodes. We talked about Star Wars comics. We talked about the Thunderbolts and what their deal is, and we talked about other things as well. Check them out. I'm also doing process videos on Mondays. You can see my art. Here's 3 things that I drew. Insert things I drew. Marshall. Wow, there they are. You can buy those on my imprint shop, and my Instagram and Twitter and stuff is all there as well. You can message me about commissions if you want a commission, all those different things. I also am drawing live on Friday nights right here at this desk or over there maybe, depending on what I'm doing. And that's, I think, all the things that I have to say about that. Thanks again for listening. Hail Doom, and good luck out there.
Yes, we love you. Read more comics. See you next time.
Good luck.